We are back, guys. Welcome to episode 3 of this hardcore journey already. Man, I still can't believe how fast this world is growing. Last time, if you remember, we finished that massive farmland right beside our starter base from episode 1. And honestly, that build took everything from me. And I'm not exaggerating. It took a massive amount of time from my life. It took the functionality of my mouse because I clicked and clicked and clicked. Thousands of times, planting every tiny seed by hand like a medieval farmer with a caffeine addiction. And on top of that, it drained the durability of basically every single tool I own. Yeah, that hurt. So obviously, we need to fix this situation. Because before we even think about touching another big project, and believe me, I have plans, we need reliable tools. Tools we can repair. Tools that won't disintegrate in the middle of a build and give me a heart attack. And guys, there's only one solution at this point. We are going big. We are building a full-on villager trading hall. Finally, we are upgrading to God-tier tools after humbling ourselves last episode by doing everything the old-school way. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the old-school playstyle. I would stick to it all day long if I didn't have this one plan. A plan I've had in my head since literally the beginning of this series. A plan I did not want to neglect or lose. Look, I have been collecting every single armor and tool piece from the start of this journey. No breaking anything, no crafting doubles, no whatever, I will just make another pickaxe. Nope. Everything gets saved. Wood tools, stone tools, iron tools, diamond tools. Every single step of progression documented. So, let's get this episode started. You might be asking yourself, alright, but what kind of house is he gonna build for the villagers? Some neat cottage, maybe a big hall, maybe a tower? And listen, this time we are building something special, very special. Remember the cave from episode 1? Yeah, that cave. That beautiful natural cave, right under the mountain. From the first moment I saw it, it sparked my imagination. And ever since then, I've had this picture in my head. The ultimate trading hall, built right inside that natural cave, without sacrificing any of the architectural style that makes this world feel alive. But before we build anything, we gotta get ready. First step, diamonds. Because repairing stuff is expensive, and I already know this project will chew through my tools like sugar cookies. So I set out and spent the first days of episode 3 deep underground, gathering as many diamonds as my inventory could carry. And during that mining spree, guess what I stumbled across? A whole trial chamber. Yeah, I noted the location immediately. We are definitely going back there one day. But for now, I returned home with over 100 diamonds. That's right, Fortune 3 really carried me on this one. Quick detour to the zombie spawner for some XP, got everything repaired, and boom, preparations completed. Now it was finally time. I headed out to the cave from episode 1, the place where everything began. Back then, I had no idea it would end up becoming the perfect home for our villager trading hall. But now it just makes sense. I lit up the whole cave so I could work in peace and then started outlining the size of the trading hall using cobblestone just to get a feel for the layout. And then the real work began. Stone. So much stone. Me and my pickaxe had a full-time job removing an absolutely insane amount of blocks. But once the room was hollowed out, I looked at the shape and yeah, it was too cube-like, too blocky, too plain. So I started excavating again, this time to round out the corners, smooth the shape, make it feel more organic. And that took way longer than I expected. But when I stepped back, I saw it, the perfect shape. A massive hall inside the mountain, my future trading hall. Next, I brought the room to life by adding giant oak log columns, 13 blocks high. And as I built them, I realized just how massive this project really was. 48 gaps between the pillars, 48 future villager spots. Before I could fill those gaps, I needed spruce. A lot of spruce. Especially because trapdoors, as always, wanted to steal every piece of wood I had. After chopping for what felt like forever, I returned to the cave. I placed the first spruce blocks while the rain poured outside. And honestly, you know that cozy feeling when you are working inside on something while it storms outside? Yeah, that's exactly what this moment felt like. I crafted all the blocks I needed, then began designing each trading station, a clean mix of deep slate and spruce. Detailed enough to look interesting, but not so complicated that I would lose my mind building it 48 times. With all materials ready, I got started on the lower floor. Gap by gap, I built the first 24 stations. And when I finished the lower half, I realized something painful. My armor and tools were dying again. Like really dying. Almost gone. But I didn't quit. I packed my stuff and ran back to the zombie farm for repairs. Over an hour later, everything was fixed, except the pickaxe. The pickaxe was too far gone, too expensive to repair again. But this wouldn't be a hardcore journey if I didn't find a solution, right? So I sprinted back home, grabbed my iron pickaxe and prayed to the enchanting gods. One enchant, just one chance, and boom, efficiency 4 and unbreaking 3. Exactly what I needed. It would be close, but it would work. Back to the cave, I built the balcony, finished half of the upper floor, then immediately continued with the other half. Then came the ceiling, and I wasn't about to fall every 5 seconds, so I made my own dirt scaffolding. With that strategy, the first half of the ceiling went fast, the second half too. Then I filled all the gaps between the walls and the ceiling. The upper part fully completed. Last big interior step, the floor. I dug out the entire stone floor and replaced the edges with stone bricks, leaving the inside filled with dirt, because I had something special planned. I needed an eye catcher. Something right in the middle of the cave. Something that would make this trading hall feel alive. And then I remembered a dragon skull design I once saw online. So I grabbed the last diorite I had and built a dragon skull completely from scratch. Jaw first, teeth with dripstone. Then the eye socket, then the top of the head. Added candles, floating, red, glowing, the whole vibe. And suddenly the cave felt magical. Now it was time to get the villagers. I headed to the nearby village the next morning and politely convinced 2 villagers to hop into my boat. Peaceful negotiations only. I grabbed all the hay bales I could find for breeding and food storage, because feeding 48 villagers is no joke. With the sun setting behind the mountains, I brought my 2 new companions back home, sailing across the world. Back in the cave, I built a simple breeder. Yes, after already 100 days in this episode. Crafted a ton of lectern and began moving the first villagers to their spots. My first emerald in this world. Secured. A beautiful moment. Then came the real grind. Depth Strider 3. Mending, Silk Touch. The essentials. But I quickly realized stick trades alone weren't gonna cut it. So I combined wood farming with an improvised iron farm to speed things up. After some calculations, I figured out I would need around 800 emeralds for full armor and tool enchants. So I chopped and traded and chopped again. Many sessions later, I finally had everything. Fire Protection 4 was the last enchantment, after over 1000 rerolls in total, according to the statistics. At last, I finally could craft a fresh set of diamond tools. I visited all the villagers with the traits I needed to enchant my tools and armor exactly the way I wanted, without making any excuses. Of course, there are enchantments that are an absolute must-have, and others that are a bit controversial. But for example, I wanted to try Thorns 3, even if there are downsides to it. In the end, I managed to get my hands on every book I needed. I sorted them all into a chest so I wouldn't get confused by the absolute amount of them. And I even enchanted the sword and the pickaxe right on the spot, using the XP I got from the trading with the villagers. I followed a guide for the cheapest enchanting order to get the best out of my situation, but I still had to do the XP farming by my hand again. So I grabbed the rest of the tools, took the seemingly endless pile of books and headed straight back to the zombie farm. I rotated between killing zombies and enchanting each tool exactly the way I had imagined and needed. Afterwards, the moment I had been waiting for across 3 episodes was finally here. I could place my original first crafted diamond tools, now on the edge of breaking, into my museum chest, where they will wait for a future place of honor in this world. For the final step of this episode, it was time to enchant the armor and the shield. Just like with the tools, I crafted a whole new set of armor to document my progress and give myself a fresh start moving forward. So, back into the cave I went for some more XP, and then one last woodchopping trip to gather the final emeralds I needed. In the end, I returned once more to the zombie farm with my carefully noted guide and instructions ready for a quick finish. Finally, ending up with my long-awaited set of god gear. I stored the old armor right beside the diamond tools in the museum chest. With this, I was more than ready for the upcoming episodes, and I might even complete them faster than the earlier ones, where I chopped and mined thousands of blocks without efficiency. Lastly, I wanted to finish the details on this build, so I took my time and worked on the lower part of the cave for a nicer and cleaner look, not just blank stone. I wanted it to feel more alive, so I added a little pond and decorated the area around it. I'm not 100% satisfied with the outcome yet, but I already have an episode in mind where we will tackle all the little issues in this world. After that, I built up the entrance to the trading hall by digging into the mountain and covering it with a beautiful street, using the same mud wall technique that we have used in every episode so far. It leads right to the entrance of our freshly finished trading hall, and to the end of this episode number 3. With this build completed, I finally stepped back and took a moment to appreciate how far we have come. From episode 1, where we started with nothing but a beautiful world, to episode 3, where we now have endless possibilities thanks to our reliable tools. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, which honestly drove me crazy because of the constant mining and repairing loop paired with the anxiety of not breaking any of my tools. Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas for the upcoming episodes and especially what the 3 doorways in the trading hall should lead to. If you enjoy this journey, don't forget to like and subscribe to be part of the adventure and the upcoming episode number 4. Cheers.